What's good? This is your boy Tony Sway, just messing around on my little Fender guitar. But yeah, this is another podcast, R&B Talk, and today I kind of just want to discuss the direction music is going in and how I think new stars are going to be made. And at the same time, I want to reminisce over, the icons, the late icons like Aaliyah, people that we've lost, people like Aaliyah, and even people like Tony Thompson of High Five, who's not as mentioned as much in R&B history, but I kind of want to reminisce about that, you know what I mean? So let's discuss this. So while the future of R&B music, a lot of people are saying that it's gone, and that or I don't even want to say, people say the D word. I don't even like saying that, but they don't believe that it can make a comeback or that it's relevant in today's music. And it's a pretty good argument, because if you look at the top 40 Billboard charts, there isn't really R&B artists in that category. You got more of the kind of hybrid artists that are more kind of hip hop, trap, that maybe use elements of R&B. The only R&B artist that I can think of that's been consistent in the top 40 over the last 5 years is Chris Brown. And to be fair, he's really kind of upgraded. He's kind of catered to the times with his songs. He's made the proper adjustments to fit in today's music, but he still delivers. Most of the time he delivers R&B vocal performance. So you got to give him credit for that. But besides him, there's not much new artists. The last big R&B song really was not Tinashe, but it was LMA Boot Up. That was the last really big R&B record that had some impact on the Billboard charts. And before that, you had like Miguel's Adorn, but it's just like a great R&B record comes every few years and has some impact. That seemed to be kind of like the trend. And for people like me who grew up in the 90s, where back to back, the Billboard charts was nothing but full of R&B. It was nothing but, all you would see on there was Boyz II Men, Jodeci, Shy, Keith Sweat, Keith Sweat, even back to the very, very early 90s, Al B. Sure, Bobby Brown, John B, mid-90s, John B, Babyface, literally that whole decade. The list goes on. There's just so many multi-platinum and platinum artists in that era of R&B that were really thriving and are still impacting. A lot of those people are still on tour to this day, because people really appreciate those songs, those real love songs. And of course you can't forget Aaliyah. Aaliyah dominated the late 90s and the early 2000s with her iconic presence as a singer, an R&B star who really crossed over naturally because of how gifted and how much star power she truly had. And got to give Aaliyah a shout out. Her music was so incredible and still is incredible. I play it, every week. Her music still gets played on my playlist, or whether an old CD in the car. And my favorite song by her is At Your Best. Just truly a classic song, a remake of Isley Brothers, an Isley Brothers tune, and just amazing, incredible job. And her being so young at the time, it's insane that she was able to project that much emotion and feeling into a song at that age. But I just wonder will there ever be an R&B artist to really impact on the level that Aaliyah was able to do. you know, people on those levels, or even a Whitney Houston for that matter, all of who we've lost. And, you know, thinking about it, it's like, wow, we've lost these really great artists. Can the R&B world ever impact the way it once did? Or at least impact, it would, you know, it'd be in a different way because we live in a different time, but can it have that same cultural impact that an Aaliyah or a Whitney Houston or somebody of that nature had? And I think it could happen. That is my belief. I think it could happen because there is a need for that kind of music that's not being filled. There is a need for a more soulful sound to be present in today's charts. There's, you know, there's a need for it, you know what I mean? So I just think that when will it happen? That usually people are like, well, it's not happening, right? But I think it's only a matter of time. And I think it's only a matter of time. And I think that's really it. It's just a matter of time. But I think you know, the way that music as a whole is going, I think people are going to be more and more in control over who's going to be the star. The labels are going to have, there's going to be less and less controls from the labels because I think they're losing control of how to create a star. You know, when's the last time a really big star has been created by a label? And it does happen, it does happen, but like I'm talking about one that's really stayed around for a good 5, 6, 7 years. Besides people like the Drakes, and you know, and Drake's really hip hop and R&B, but when's the last really iconic star that's really came along in R&B music? And you can't, and that's not a disrespect to nobody, because I love a lot of new music, but you have to acknowledge the charts. It's whatever people are streaming and whatever they're buying, that's what's the biggest music. And you know, but I think it's really in the power of the fans. Whatever music playlist you support, or you know, whatever artist you get behind, that's who's going to be the biggest artist, obviously, because the labels don't have the power that they used to, and a lot of that power now is unleashed on social media, and people are having to find new ways to captivate audiences. Like even me, you know, I'm doing multiple different things to get my music out there, primarily playlists, you know, and that seems to be the new wave, is you got to be on the most poppin' playlists to really build your fan base and to build a revenue from streams. And I mean, I would say that's true, you know, because I've seen the results of the streams, and you know, the bottom line is if you're getting good streams and you own your masters, you can actually, you know, between that and touring, you can actually make a good living from it. But you know, I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts, your comments on the state of the R&B culture and where you guys think it's gonna go. And are you upset of where things are at? Or are you feeling hopeful about how things are, about the future for this music? Or worse, have you already given up on it and just don't think it'll ever come back again and be a major dominant force on the charts? Because we're talking the charts here. We're not just talking, I love R&B, but we're talking about, are the masses gonna fall back in love with this incredible music? It's like, it's dependent on the artist to put out great music as well. But you know, a lot of music, people are dialing down on the music and they're putting less into it these days as well. So you know, everything comes with the cost. People are making cheaper music. They're using cheaper programs to make it. You know, and who's to blame for the lack of success in those particular in the particular R&B genre? You know, I mean, somebody has to take the blame, you know. But sometimes people want to blame it on the fans, but I don't think it's the fans' fault. The reality is, I think if the music's good enough, as long as you get it out there, it's gonna do well. But if the music's not good enough or it's not innovative, that's also the same thing. It won't stand a chance, you know. So, but again, do you guys think there will ever be anybody like an Aaliyah or Whitney Houston or somebody on that level to really dominate in R&B? I would love to see it, and I don't think anybody will achieve those levels, but I think there will be some artists that will prevail, who will do well for this particular genre of, heartfelt R&B songs, emotional, soulful music, and not have to rely so much only on overly doing the trap or overly doing the hip hop, but really be true to the art form of soul music. You know what I mean? So that's it for my R&B Talk podcast today. Yeah, I'm just sitting here chilling, trying to be smooth. This ain't got no amp on it right now, so I'm trying to learn the guitar and everything. Whatever, but just having fun with it, and I appreciate you guys for watching. This is your boy Tony Sway at TonySwayMusic.com. If you need beats, I got you. If you need playlists, I got you. Shoot, and if you want to talk about R&B culture, I got you. Just tune in, subscribe to my channel, because I really appreciate it. This is my full-time job, so every subscriber, every stream, and every sale counts, and you help feed my family and keep the wife happy. So I love y'all, I appreciate y'all. Holla at me, God bless.